Yo, what is up? Today I am creating a spline for pathing. So I'm gonna have an enemy follow a spline path that we create because somebody asked us to. So I'm already in this, our thing. Click on the games tab here and we're gonna do it in third person. So just click on this and create. All right, so a spline is essentially a line with points, and all we want to do is have the enemy follow the points from point to point across this line we're creating. So let me first Shift F11. Shift F11. All right, so let's start by, because it's an empty project, we don't have anything yet. I'm just gonna create a character real quick. Blueprint class, go and click character, and I'm gonna make it BP, I'll just say NPC. BP NPC, blueprint for the NPC, non-player computer. And I'm just gonna add a skeletal mesh here. It's gonna be SKM Manny. And then the anim class is going to be ABP Manny. And then I'm just going to drop him down a bit. And rotate him. And that's going to be our guy. So I already did that. I'm going to leave that open because I'm going to use that later. Let me click on blueprint class, and the next blueprint class I'm going to be creating is going to be for the spline. So I'm going to create an actor here. I'm just going to call it BP underscore, I'm just going to call it spline. BP spline. I'm going to double click on this so we can open it up, and I'm going to add spline and click on it. It should be under the utility. And all it's going to be is this little line right here. And that's our spline. So now that we have the spline, I'm going to first drag the enemy out here. Rotate it. And then I'm going to drag the spline out here. I'm going to rotate that too. I'm going to have it go this way. And then I'm going to click this. Now, to create a new little point here, you click on the very end of it, and then you just hold the Alt, and then you drag wherever you want the next point to go for the spline. So if I make it go right here, and then I'll Alt drag again, I'll make it go over here. Then I'm going to Alt drag again, have it go over here, and Alt drag again, going to have it go right here. So now I've like circled the entire area. Maybe I'll just go a little bit over here just to, oops, drag the wrong thing. Only drag the, whatever. You can also move these individual points if you want, like this. Okay, so now we have our spline path that we want the NPC to follow. So now we have to create the logic for the enemy, keep saying enemy, for the NPC to follow that line. So let's go into the event graph here, and I'm going to create a new event. So every time, let's create a custom event. Every time this event's going to be called, I'm going to call it path, it's going to have this event go. And this event is just going to be, I want to, each one of these points here, I'm just going to call them path points. And it's going to be of type integer, because the path point's already set every time we created one of those little dots on the path there, those are all different little path points on there. Now we need to set those path points on that graph and link that to these integers so that we can then have the enemy move to each one of those little points. So if I get the path point here and I add it by 1, because we just want to have it go to each one, and I set that as the new path, it'll move across that line. But this doesn't mean anything yet because it isn't actually attached to the spline itself. So in order to do that, we need to go into this construction script here. And I'm going to create a new function here. So I'm going to create a new function. I'm just going to leave it as new function because I don't care about it. But give it a name that makes sense for you. Output, I'm just going to hit plus here. And we get a return node. So what we're going to need for this return node is an actual location. So I'm going to call it location. And I'm going to get a vector. So I need to get the spline itself. And off of this, I want to drag because I want to get the location for each spline point. And that's actually just an option for the spline. So we want to get the location at the spline point. And we want to hook that back up to the location here. And this point index is just going to be the path points we created. So now it's linked to the spline. And I want to change this to world. Compile and save it. That should be good, right? Yeah. So it'll follow along that. So now what I want to do is go into the NPC we created, and we want to create that variable in here. So this is going to be the path that we're getting here. So it's going to be BP underscore, it's just going to be spline, BP spline. Get an object reference for this, and we want to expose this on spawn here. I'll save it. And exposing this on spawn is going to enable it so we can click this thing and then we can have it follow the path that we're trying to get to follow. And I'll show you that later on. But first, let's create a blueprint interface. I'm going to do this real quick. Blueprint interface, BPI underscore NPC, because it's going to go on the NPC. So all I need for this is this new function. I'm just going to call path. I'm calling too many things path. I'm going to run into issues later, but whatever. Name is something different, like NPC path or something. BP underscore this is going to be the spline that we're trying to go across. So it adds it to the return node parameter, and we're just going to attach the path onto that. So let's go back to the NPC and actually get the class settings so we can add the interface onto here. It's going to be the BPI underscore NPC. And that should be implemented. So now we want to go into this, and all we want to do is hook up this path to this. Function and property have the same name. Okay, so yeah, that's why you don't name everything the same thing. Let me just change this NPC path. Compile and save. Compile and save. All right, so that's good. So now what we want to do is we want to have the ability for the NPC to actually move to that location. So I'm going to go BT underscore NPC for the behavior tree, and I'm just going to create the blackboard here too, BBD underscore NPC as well. So let me open this. It should automatically inherit, and it does. So let me click new task up here. And what I want to do is create a new task for the NPC to go to the next point. So I'm just going to call it, I don't know, like BTT path. Everything's going to be named path. All right, so I named it path. I need to, what's the first thing? It's like initialize something. Not initialize. What was it called? Event something. Event receive execute AI. Okay. Event receive execute AI. We want to get the variable we just created for the enemy path. NPC path. My bad. NPC path message. And the controlled pawn is going to be the target. And now we want to make sure this path is valid so we don't get errors. Is valid. If it is valid, then we want to move to, AI move to, a certain location that's dictated by the spline. But now let me pull off of, what is this spline? I should pull off this path. So we want to pull off to get the location at the spline point. It automatically gives me the spline itself, and I'm going to drag this onto the destination. And we also want to get the point. What's it called? Spline point, get path point, yeah. Get path point, attach that to the point index. And so it's going to move to that particular path point. So every time the event executes this, it's going to do NPC path, which is going to update what point it's going to next. So I still need to update the actual point itself. So we need to drag off this and get path. Wait, can I not? Oh, wait. I might need to drag off of this. Is it on this? Yes, it's going to be on this. Path. Yeah, the function. Okay. So I'm trying to update the path function here. And then that should be it. So let me finish execute here. Finish execute. I forgot to attach the target actor. Not the target actor, the pawn, which is the control pawn. So just drag that here. In the finish execute, you want to click success. Always end with the finish execute. So compile and save. And now we want to go back into the behavior tree and drag off of this. And we want to create a sequence. Off of this, we're going to get the task we just created, which is the BTT path. And then off of this, do we need to wait? We actually might not need that. I'm gonna leave it like this. So did that. All right. So now we want the NPC to actually pick up this behavior tree because it's not going to pick it up right now because there's nothing that's telling it it should. So what we need to do is we need to create blueprint class and go to all classes. It's going to be an AI controller. AI controller, select. I'm going to call it AIC underscore NPC. Double click on it. And let's go to the event graph here. And on, actually, I'll leave that there. On event begin play, we're just going to drag off here and then run a behavior tree. And that's essentially all we need to do. Just have to click the drop-down menu here, and it should be the only table that I created. You might have other ones, but the BT NPC. And target should be self. That makes sense. So that's good. We still need to, under BP NPC, add the AI controller that we just created. So let's go here. AIC. I'm surprised that actually pulled up. Yeah, okay. Drop down menu here, AIC NPC. Compile and save that. And I think that's all I need for that right now. I think that's all. That should be good. So I'm back in here, and what I forgot to do is I forgot to create the nav mesh bounds volume. So I'm going to do that right now. Nav mesh bounds volume. I'm going to zero this out, and I'm going to scale this to like 50. And I did not scale the whole thing. Wait, let me lock this. Now I'll scale to 50. And let me check by clicking P. I can see all the different places that are colored, where it can go. That's pretty much everything. So that's good. Now I need to have this set, this little spline here as the actual thing for it to go to. So it should be right here. There's the path. Just click the eyedropper tool, or you could do the drop down menu and click the spline thing. But you can just click this eyedropper tool and click the spline, and it'll put in here BP spline for you. Or you can do the drop down menu. So I'm gonna hit play, and it should go. What the heck? Oh, wait a second. Let me go in here. I did coordinate space local. This needs to be world. Compile a save and hit play. And there you go. And that's why having that drop-down menu and clicking world is important. And that pretty much followed the spline all the way through. Hopefully that worked for you. And that is it. Goodbye.